Hi, this is Dan Heisman, and we're continuing with our series of YouTube videos to help you improve your chess game. One of the things we do is we play games out loud versus a mid-level engine, so you can see how a good player thinks. And a lot of people ask me questions, and sometimes the answer to the question is, oh, haven't you listened to me play out loud against the computer? Because that would answer your question on, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you figure these things out? So these games are very helpful. I also make a caveat that I'm playing faster than the time limit because we want the video to be not much more than 30 minutes, and we have a 45-45 game. So normally that would take, if I'm taking all my time, that would take well over an hour, and we don't want a video that long. So I am going to be playing too fast for the time limit. I haven't played any games since my birthday, so I've never played a slow game at this age. So let's see if I've still got it. Let's see how I can play against the computer today. All right, let's challenge Beth O here on ICC. 45-45. There's the game. Let's center. Oh, I'm black against D4. Well, last time I played the King's Indian and we got into that queen sacrifice line from Bronstein. Let's do something different. Let's see if I can take Beth O out of the book on D4 instead of outbooking her like I did last time I played the... So let's just play some crazy stuff and see what happens here. Let's play G6. C4, still offering a King's Indian. Let's play C5 and see if we get a Benoni. C5 for Benoni. All right, let's try it. C5. Knight C3. Okay, so we can take the pawn. When the queen takes, we can save our rook with knight F6, and then we can play knight C6. And we'll probably end up in a Maroczy bind where I'm up. A Maroczy bind where I'm up a tempo or two. Is that good enough? I don't know. Beth O's pretty good in the white side of Maroczy bind positions, but let's try it anyway. Pawn takes. Queen takes. Knight F6. Knight there. All right, so now the idea is if I play knight c6, knight takes f6 check, messes up my pawn. So I guess I have to play bishop g7 first. Queen a5 check doesn't work. Bishop g7, if bishop g5, then I can play knight c6. All right, so bishop g7 looks like the right idea. Can he do anything to me? Knight f6, bishop f6, bishop h6. Can't do that because I take his queen. All right, bishop g7, knight g3. All right, so now I get the chance to play knight c6 with a lead in development. Is there any reason not to do that? I don't see any. All right, so knight c6. Okay, so now I can get a discovery on the queen if I guard the bishop with castling. I can also play d5 and then if pawn takes, knight takes if I castle also. So I don't think there's any reason not to castle here. I don't want to play d6 because in some lines I want to play d5. If I play castle and he plays e4, I can play knight takes e4, hitting the queen. All right, so castles it is. Rook b1, that's a computer move. Okay, so discoveries with the knight e4 doesn't look like it's anything special. I guess I could play knight e4 and then queen a5 check and win the bishop pair. Let's take a look at that. Knight e4, queen somewhere, queen a5 check, bishop d2, knight takes d2, queen takes d2. Yeah, that looks good. I think I have even better though. Knight e4, queen moves, queen a5 check. Winning the bishop pair is very nice. He can't castle right away. Knight e4, queen somewhere, queen a5 check, bishop d2, knight takes d2, queen takes d2. I could even win the a7, the a pawn. Knight e4, queen somewhere. If he plays queen a3, That's interesting. All right, so knight e4, queen a3. Now queen a5 check is no good because queen takes knight takes e4. All right, so knight e4, queen a3. Now, can I play knight d4? And if knight takes e4, knight c2 check? How would he stop knight c2 check? Knight e4, queen a3, knight d4. If he moves the queen back to c3, what would I do? I have a discovery now. I could play knight takes e2, hitting the queen. All right, so knight e4, queen a3, knight d4. If the king moves, then I could just play something like knight to f6 or something. He can't castle, so I'm not worried about a king move. What else could he do? Queen to d3, queen a5 check, bishop d2, knight takes d2, queen takes d2, knight c2 check maybe, or just queen takes a2, and if he takes on e4, yeah. I'm starting to like knight e4 now. Knight e4, queen a3, knight d4. If he moves the queen anywhere else, I have queen a5 check. If he plays b4, I can play queen takes a2. Well, if his queen's on d3, I can play knight takes b4. And that should work. All right, let's try that line. It looks pretty interesting. We're going to play knight e4 and see what he does. Knight e4. There it is, queen a3. All right, so my plan was to play knight to d4, threatening to fork the queen. If he moves the queen back to d3, I can play queen a4, a5 check, but then he has b4. So maybe that doesn't work. Knight d4, queen d3, I can play knight c5, hitting the queen again. That just can't be bad. Knight d4, knight d4. He has to stop the fork. All right, so let's try that. It can't be too bad. Knight d4. Queen d3 as expected. All right, so queen a5 check fails to b4. I can't play queen takes a2 because the rook is guarded and he could just take the knight on e4. Could I play knight takes g3 first and then play queen a5 check? I don't think so. Knight takes g3, h takes g3, queen a5 check, b4, queen takes a2. That's pretty interesting, actually. Knight g3, h takes g3, queen a5 check. Well, then he can play bishop d2, and then I have queen takes a2, but that's not as good. I'm not winning the bishop pair there. Knight c5. Where does he move the queen? He can't go to a3, can't go to e3. If he goes to c3, I have knight takes e2 with a discovery. If he goes queen to d2, I guess he could play queen d2. All right, so interesting. So I can win a pawn with knight takes g3, h takes g3, queen a5 check, and then he gets out of check and I play queen takes a2. That's really not that bad. Do I have anything better than that? Can I play knight c5? He can play queen d2. Then I can play d5. C takes d, queen takes d5. e3, my knight's pinned to the queen. Do I have a check? No, I don't. So I got to be a little careful. Okay, knight c5, queen d1, or queen d2. He could play, guess, queen d1. How about d5 in this position? d5, knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes, bishop f5 wins the exchange. All right, d5, c takes d5. Then he's still hitting my knight. Knight c5 looks okay. Knight takes g3 looks okay. I hate to open up that line for the rook. He's really awkwardly placed. Queen a5 check, b5. Queen takes b5, rook takes b5, knight c2 check, doesn't do anything. Really would like to get that bishop out. If I play knight g3 followed by d5, c takes d5, bishop e4, e4, doesn't seem to do anything. Knight g3, hg3, d5, c takes d5, queen takes d5, e3, hits the knight, queen a4, 5 check, b4, doesn't look good for me. Knight g3, hg3, d5, c takes d5. I just don't see bishop f5, e4, does not look good. d5 right away, c takes d, he's still threatening my knight. If a knight takes g3, transposes to the other line. H takes g3, bishop f5, e4. Not quite finding the right move order here. He's threatening to take my knight, so I have to do something about that. I either have to play knight takes g3, or I have to play something like knight c5. Knight c5 really doesn't look that bad. If then I play check and I take the a pawn later, I guess that's okay. All right, let's play knight c5. Queen d2, that's what I thought. Okay. Well, d5 doesn't seem to work. He just plays cd, queen takes d5, e4. Well, I guess now I could take it with a knight. So, if I can stop e4 that way, d5, can he play b4? He can, but maybe I can play knight e4. Or I could just play knight on c to e6, although that blocks the knight. Can I play a5 to stop b4? I guess I can. I guess I have some tricks with knight a4 followed by bishop c3 if he plays b4. Interesting. d5 looks thematic. So d5, c takes d, queen takes d, e3. Hits the knight and I can't move it because I lose my queen. d5, c takes d5, bishop e4, bishop f5, knight takes f5. Doesn't work. Well, maybe I should just play quietly with b6 or d6. Let's just play d6. Can't be too bad. d6. e4. Okay. So now my knight on d4 is getting a little stronger. I could play h5, h4 and get rid of, threaten to remove the guard on the knight. If he plays h4, then it's going to be harder for him to castle. H5, queen g5, knight c2 check. Looks good. I could play bishop e6. Yeah, let's play h5. Looks like a fun move. Okay, so we got a little bit of a concession there. Okay, so I can play e6 and hit that pawn if he ever castles. I can get my bishop out to b7. I don't think I want to play I don't think I want to play queen a5 anymore. So can I play a5 and keep the pawn out of b4 and then play like b6 and bishop b7? Or I could play b6 right away, and if he plays b4, I have knight a4. Interesting. So b6 or a5. A5 looks interesting. Oh, hold on a second. Alright, so it's a5 or b6. I could play bishop d7 and bishop c6. a5 looks thematic, keeping the knight on c5. Let's do that. Let's play a5. So we played h5 and a5 on 2 moves. Knight e2, hitting my knight. Okay. So I don't want to let him take that. I think I just want to go back to c6. Knight c6. I could play knight e6, but knight c6 looks like a better square. Let's do knight c6. King d1. Thank you for moving the king. Time to attack the center now. I could play e6 and d5. I could play bishop at e6, but then he plays knight f4. I think I should just play b6. If he plays queen d5, I can play bishop b7. Otherwise, I can play either bishop a6 or bishop b7. Yeah, I think that's the right idea. Let's play b6 here. Okay, knight f4. His knight can go to d5. I could play e6 and then d5. I could play knight b4, threatening knight a2. I can play bishop b7 and then move the knight and hit the e-pawn. If he plays knight d5, I can always play e6. Think that's good. His king's stuck in the middle. Bishop to b7. Can he play knight takes g6, f takes g6, queen d5 check? No, because my bishop on b7 would guard the knight on c6. So that's a good thing to stop. All right, so let's play bishop b7. Rook b1. All right, is knight h5 a threat in any lines? I don't think so, but... All right, so I want to get my knight into the game. Knight to e5 threatens to take the e-pawn. Then I could play maybe something like e6 and d5. Blast open the center even if I lose a pawn. Knight e5. I could play e5, and when his knight moves, I could play knight d4, and then let's say e5, knight d4, and then bishop takes d5. It's good for me, but maybe I have better than that. I can't play queen d7 because after knight d5 he's threatening knight takes b6. That's a little awkward. Kind of like knight e5, hitting the pawn and then playing rook c8 and threatening some more. Also that guards g6 in some lines. All right, so let's do that. Knight e5. All right, he guards the pawn with f3. Maybe just rook c8 here. The idea is to play maybe knight e6, trade off the knights, hit the pawn on make him play b3. It's got to be good for me. All right, so let's play rook c8. Get that rook in the game. Betho's actually thinking for a second. All right, rook to g1. Betho doesn't have a lot of things to do. If I play e6 and d5, takes, that's okay for him. If I play knight e6, knight takes, pawn takes, and then play d5, I think that works. Also, I'm threatening queen takes h4 once I play e6. So let's look at playing e6. How does he guard the h4 pawn? If he plays the rook back to h1, d5, c takes, e takes, knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, and then I move my queen out of the way, threatening pawn takes. So e6, rook h1, d5, c takes, e takes. If he takes with the pawn, can I just move the queen? I can always move the queen anyway and play rook d8. Rook d8, then if I push the pawn and c takes, e takes, knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, got to be good for me. I really think that playing e6 is a good idea. He can't pile up on the d6 pawn. Let's play e6. e6. There goes the rook again. Okay, so the idea is to play d5. Can I play it right away? I'm sure I can, but is there a better idea? d5, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes, pawn d5, c takes d, e takes d. If he takes with the pawn, can I play a knight check or anything? No. All right, well, I can just wait a move and play queen e7 and then play rook fd8. I could also play queen f6, hitting the knight. I don't really see what that does since it's guarded by the queen and the bishop. Is it a better place to put the queen? Should I put it on d7 instead? If I put it on d7, can I go to a4 and do anything? I don't think so. Can I play queen c7 and attack something down the c file? Queen c7. If I then play d5, c takes d, e takes d, knight takes d5, bishop takes, pawn takes. I don't quite see that I'm winning anything. I'm looking at discoveries with a knight on c5. So queen c7, somehow my spider sense tells me that queen e7 is a better square than c7. Just for some reason. All right, let's play queen e7. Queen c3, giving me a discovery. And now if I play d5, c takes d, I have knight takes e4. If e takes d, then I have e takes d, knight takes d, d5, e takes d, c takes d, knight takes d. Boy, that looks awfully good. d5, threatening knight takes c4. E takes d, e takes d, knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, c takes d5. Now I have two discoveries on the queen. Do any of them work? All right, let's look at other discoveries. Knight to g4 threatens knight f2 check. He just moves the queen back to d2. And what are my knight's hanging? So why am I playing knight g4 if he can just play queen d2? Man, it looks like d5 has got to be the move. d5, e takes d, bishop d5, e takes d5, e takes d, knight d5, bishop takes, pawn takes, and I got all kinds of play. I could play I'm not sure what. That's such a weird position. I could just play rook to d8, and if he plays bishop c4, I have knight takes c4, queen takes c4. It's got to be good. All right. I'm tempted. d5. All right, got to take with the pawn. Okay, this is the line. I could pin the knight with the rook. I don't think that's the right idea. If I pin the knight with the rook, can he play knight f5 or something? I don't think so. If he moves the king, I can play bishop takes. If he guards it with the queen, I can play bishop takes, pawn takes, and I'm still doing well. I think maybe rook fd8 is the right move here. Rook fd8, pinning the knight. If he hits my knight on f4, I can play knight g4. All right, let's play rook fd8. Rook fd8. He gets out of the pin. All right, but he still can't castle. So bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes. Looks pretty good. I'm now threading all kinds of discoveries, and I'm pinning the bishop. All right, so let's do it. Bishop takes d5. If I play rook takes and he plays knight c4, I probably have even rook takes d2 check. I got all kinds of tactics coming up here. But rook takes d5 looks like the first move. All right, let's do it. Rook takes d5. Okay, so why am I winning the queen now? If I move the knight, my rook is hanging on c8. Okay, so can I move the knight with some sort of tempo? I don't think so. But I can attack multiple things here. I could play queen to d7, threatening to move the knight a million different places, and threatening the bishop. Queen d7 looks awfully good. What else could I play? My knight on e5 can move with a discovery. Knight takes f3, queen takes f3, knight g4. Doesn't look like I'm not threatening knight f2 check anymore. I don't know. Queen d7. If he plays bishop to b5, I just take it with the queen. If he plays bishop c4, I take it. He takes back. I move my knight. I win the queen. If he plays rook d1, I just move my knight and I pin the queen and I win it. If he moves the queen, I don't really see as much defense on queen d7. Queen d7. I got so many threats. Right now I could play knight on 5 to d3, hitting the queen. If he moves the queen, I could take on b2. I don't think that threat really goes away. Knight on e5 to d3. Where would the queen go? Am I winning the queen right away? He plays queen to c4. I don't know. It just, If I play queen d7 and he plays bishop to a6, I have knight takes a6, and my rook's held. If I play queen d7 and he moves his queen to a3, looks like it's almost mate. Yeah, I have queen takes, rook takes d2 check. Yeah, I don't see any defense. I think knight on e to d3 wins at least the b2 pawn. But I think queen d7 is just stronger because he can't play bishop a6. He can't play bishop b5. And that's going to be about it. If he plays queen e3, then I've got knight to e4 discovered check, bishop c3. I might even have rook takes d2, queen takes d2, knight e4 check, winning the queen. All right, so queen d7, queen e3, rook takes d2 check, queen takes d2, knight e4 check, wins the queen. All right, let's do a queen d7. Bishop there. All right, so every knight move now wins the queen. I want to win the queen for as much as I can. Knight e6 maybe, knight e6. If bishop c4, rook takes c4. If queen takes I think knight e6 looks simple. If I could play knight to d3, knight on c to d3. Knight on c to d3. If bishop takes, rook takes, check, he takes back, I take on d3. I think that's good. Knight on c to d3. Bishop takes b6. Rook takes check. Should be pretty crushing. All right, let's play knight on c to d3. Queen takes c8, queen takes c8 check, everything's held. Knight on c to d3. Queen takes, take back check. King there. Getting close to mate. If I play knight to c4, hitting the bishop. Bishop stays on the diagonal. I could play knight takes, something takes on b2. I could also play knight b4, threatening mate on c2. How would he stop that? Knight b4. If bishop d3, I just take it off. If b3, it's still mate. If a3, it's still mate. I don't see it. Knight to b4 looks like mate. Knight b4, bishop d3, take it. The other knight takes on d3, rook to c1, knight takes c1, and then it's still mate. Yeah, knight b4 looks like it's mating. All right, let's do it. Knight b4. Okay, other knight takes. Knight takes rook. Bishop there, just throwing something in the way. Queen takes. F4. Do I have another mate other than queen to c2? Do I have any cutesy mates? I don't see any cutesy mates. I guess I only have one mate and one. All right, if I only have one mate and one, that's the one I'm going to play. Queen here.
Checkmate.
Okay, 34 minutes, not bad for the video. That was a pretty interesting game. I never really played a game quite like that before, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's not like, oh, I play this kind of position all the time. So I kind of played, g6, c5 to take Betho out of the book a little bit there. And for a while, I wasn't quite sure I was getting as much as I thought. But actually, once Betho moved the king, what move was that where Betho moved the king? King to D1 on move 15. Then I kind of think I just needed to kind of blast the center. So even though D5 was a pseudo sacrifice, I was pretty sure I was getting it back with a big attack. So I just had to calculate it there. And once I was able to get my pawn back in the middle, then the rest was actually pretty easy. All right, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Please tell your friends about my channel, Dan Heisman Chess. I've tried to put all the same kind of information I had on my 7 times award-winning best instruction in North American Novice Nook column. I've tried to put some of the same stuff in my 204 videos. So if it won the best instruction in North America 7 times, the same information in the channel should be good for you. So pass the word to your friends. Please tell them, hey, lots of good instruction stuff that you don't get other places in my channel. If you'd like to subscribe, great. If you like the video, great too. See you next time. Bye.